I am Jenny. I have overall 9-year experience in IT industry.
Hello all, welcome to KSR DATAVIZON YouTube channel. And today in this session, we are going to talk about SQL and Power BI and how to use this both the technology together to create powerful reports and visuals. So let me first walk you guys through the list of things that we are going to discuss today. So there are four things we are going to discuss. First, how to load the data from SQL into Power BI. And the second thing is how to load only the required data from SQL into Power BI through SQL Query. And the third is like how to make the queries dynamic using parameters. And the fourth is like how to change the title in the text box dynamically. So without delay, let's start doing it. So first, let me open MySQL. So in this MySQL, as of now, I have all the data stored in my local device. Just click it here and it will be asking you the password. Just give the password. So SQL is an interesting programming language. Using this, you can manipulate data in the database. Like if you want to edit data, if you want to enter some data in the database, if you want to retrieve some data in the database, using SQL, you can do that. Okay, so we are not going to see anything about SQL deeply in this session. Only whatever things required to take the data or load the data from SQL into Power BI, only that we are going to cover today. So MySQL has list of databases and each database will be having tables. How many tables you can like store number of tables inside the database. So few things I want to tell before going to run any command. So suppose if you want to run any of the database or any of the tables, first the particular database where the table has been stored, that should be active. Okay, so now here the bike sales database has been active. So if you run or if you try to fetch any table, that particular table should be inside this database. So as of now, my table, that the table which we are going to use for the Power BI report, it's lying inside the sales database. Okay, to make this database active, there are two ways. One is using the command use database name and run this. Okay, and the second thing is if you want to, suppose if you want to activate this database, just right click and click set as default schema. So what happens when the particular database is not active and if you are trying to fetch some tables from the database? Suppose imagine my it is activate. Okay, this database is activated and I want to fetch data from this table. Okay, sales database and this table. So I'm writing a query. Now select car from table name, which is my table name car data, semicolon, and run this command. So it's telling you very clearly table database name dot table name does not exist. Why? This particular table is not in this database. It is inside this database, right? So this activating this database is very important. So now let's activate the database which we want and we can run this command. So now the date, because as we activated this, it pulled the data from the table. So this is a simple query which is used to pull the data from the table. So one more thing, you have to be very careful when you're working with your in your organization or when you're working with a big table. You should not run the entire query like this, because this query just try to fetch all the data from the table. If the data table is very huge or very big, or if it has many rows, it take long time to load the data. Sometimes it will take long time, it will be keep on loading. Okay, so always restrict the data either with any of this, like a limit to 10 rows or limit to 50 rows, so that only those rows will be loaded. Okay, so now our agenda is to load this database into Power BI. So let's start doing that. Go to Power BI, and in Power BI we can take the data using get data. So click the get data and click more, and here you have to give MySQL. Click MySQL here. So double click MySQL database. So here it is asking about server and the database. So let me show you where you can see the server name. So open MySQL. In this, come down, open this, click this session, and here this host is localhost, right? So this is the server name, and the database name. What we are going to use is sales, because all our tables are inside this database. So now go again to Power BI, give the server name as localhost and the database name as sales. And now give OK. So this advanced option we are going to see in the next topic. So now this database has two tables. One is car data and the next one is ELE store. So we want only car data table. If you want more table also, you can choose whatever you want. So just click it here. Why it is showing sales dot card data? This is database name dot the table name. You can directly go and load the data, because when the data is in the database, it will be always clean. Okay, you don't want to do any transformation or cleaning the data is not required. So directly load the data. So once you load the data, and if the data is in the Power BI, you can do all the activities like calculate. You can create calculated column, you can create DAX, and you can create measures. Anything you want, you can perform. Okay, so now the table has been come in the Power BI. You can change the name of the table, whatever you want, you can do. Okay, now it is showing the database name and the table name. I want to change to be, if you want, you can change it. Let me change to car details. Okay, so first let's create a symbol to tax. One is to count the number of cars, and the second is to sum up the pricing, selling price. So here, total cars. So that's nothing but just counting the number of car names. So we can use the DAX count, open the bracket, then car name. So next we'll write one more measure, right click the table name, take new measure, and click here total price for all the cars. Okay, so total price. That is nothing but the sum of selling price column. So now for us two DAX, DAX we have written, that's enough for our report. So let's create now a symbol bar chart. So which will show the car names and the kilometers driven. And I don't want to take all the car names. We'll do filter also. So pull car names and the kilometers driven. So it is showing many car names, right? So we will filter it. So just pull car name in the filter on this visual, and we can take the filter type top N, and let us pull only the 5 top cars. Okay. So now by value kilometer driven, and you have to give apply filter, else the filter will not be applied to the visual. So now it is showing only the top 5 cars. So next we'll take one more visuals which is table. So here just we will drag car names and kilometers driven and selling price, and we can write fuel type also. Okay. So okay, fine. So now our base small report is ready. Let's do symbol formatting. Just go to format, go to general, and make this effects to be black color is okay. Transparency also, if you want, if you can do it. Okay. And here also you can do the transparency. Go to general. You can make this title also little bold, like you can increase the size of the title. Go to title, and if you want whatever title you want, you can change it. And I want to make it as bold, and we can make the text color to be white and the background to be black. That's all your wish. Whatever you want to do your coloring, you can go ahead and do it, but maintain all like all the visuals to be in the same color, or like the fonts, everything, that let it be even. Okay, so now here also you can change some of the things. Go to visual and totals, let's off the total, we don't want total. Column header, we'll make it as 14. Okay, enough. We can make it as bold, and I think that's look good. And you can make the text color to be white, background to be black. Okay, so next we can change this font size also. Column header we waited, then we go to general, change the values to be like enough. We can make it as bold. That will be enough. Okay. So this simple report is enough. We can make use of the card also. Take the card so that when we change the type, it will be clear to know what is happening. So we can take the total cars here and one more card also will use it. So for that, we'll take price, total price. We will make some formatting here. Go to general, go to effects, make the transparency. And here also change the transparency to be 100. Okay. So our small report is ready. It is very simple. You can do whatever you want, like based on that, your visuals will be changed. So here we have created very simple report where we loaded the entire database and we have taken and created a report. Suppose after creating a report, your manager says, I want to see the fuel type only petrol or diesel. Now it is pulling all the details, right? See, suppose here we have taken all the columns, right? If you want to change this column also, you can do it. Okay, click here, go to add to visuals here, just double click it and you can change this column name. Okay, so that it take only less space. Sum of selling price also we can change it. Selling price. Okay, whatever you want, you can do all the formatting here. So it is showing here the fuel type, all the fuel type. Okay, like CNG is there, diesel is there, everything is there. So now the your manager says he want to see only the fuel type petrol. So for that, we can go to SQL and we can write a query and bring only those details. Okay, so it's always a good practice to bring whatever the data you want from the database. In like here, we didn't use all the seller type, we didn't use the transmission, we didn't use the year and all for the report. So always use whatever the column or data is required for the report, only bring those from the SQL. So now we are going to see the second concept of fetching only the required data from the table into Power BI. So let us write a query. Select all from table name where fuel type. You can write any condition you want, but now I want to write only for, I want to pull only for the fuel type petrol. Okay. So whenever you mention any character or fetch any character details, you have to put in the quotes. Okay. Single quotes. Now execute this. So it is just pulling. Okay, see here it is telling car data. Okay, so I have given the table name wrongly. So it is throwing the error. So execute this. So everything should be correct. The table name, the column name. Okay, else it will throw error. So it just pull the fuel type with diesel. We are going to use this command, this query in the SQL, like Power BI, to load only the fuel type diesel. Okay, so now again go to Power BI. So get data, more. So whenever you load the required data or which is required for the report, it optimize the report. It improve the performance of the report. Okay. Click connect. So now here, as I told, the server name is localhost and the database name is sales. Here we are going to, now we are going to write some query to fetch the data from the database, right? So we have to give the query in the advanced option. Just give the query here. We don't want to mention the semicolon here. Okay. Now give OK. So if you see here, it just pull all the details from the table with the condition where the fuel type is diesel. Okay. Just load it. So now again, we can create a report with this data. So I don't want to do the same report again. It's okay. So what we can do is we can copy this source into this table. Okay. First, let me show you what all the source. So now go to transform. So I want to show you guys what will be the source for this table and what will be the source for this table. So go to transform data. So both the table has different source, right? The first table we have taken the complete database and the second table we have used a query. So let me show the source. So when you see the source here, it is MySQL database, and this is the database name, and this is a server name, and this is a database name. When you see the query which we fetch using a query, right? You can change the table name also here. See here, MySQL database. This is the server name, database name, and it has given the query here. So it has a restricted data, and this is now hard coded, right? So now what we can do is the third step, we are going to parameterize this hard coded value using parameter. Okay. So what we can do now to do that manage parameter, we can use manage parameter to parameterize this query. So in the Power Query editor itself, we have an option manage parameters. Just click here and give manage parameter. And click here new. You can write any of the parameter name you want. Parameter fuel type. This is option. This is like your own wish. Okay, current value. What there are three like the particular column. The fuel type has three difference. Okay, like diesel, petrol, and CNG. So let me take now diesel and click OK. Okay, so now this parameter we have created. Now we have to link this parameter into the table. You have to parameterize this, right? So for that, just click here, delete it, and you have to follow some like say special characters to link that parameter into this query. Okay, for that put double quotes. Okay, put the cursor inside the double quotes. Can move using the arrows. Now you click ampersand, no space in between. Okay, now again move the arrows and click in between. Now what you have to do is this parameter name has space in between, right? Parameter space. So to read that, we need to put hash. If there is no space in between the parameter name, you don't want to put hash. Automatically, if you give space, it will pull. Okay. Now, as we have space, we have to give hash and choose this. Okay. So now if you check, this parameter will be having only diesel. Okay. So now if you want to see your manager, or if your report want to like reflect with different fuel type, you have to change this to, you can change to different value. Okay. So now I'm changed the parameter to petrol. So if you come and see here, so you have to, it will be asking edit permission because we are trying to give data from this parameter into another table, right? So it will ask for edit permission, give edit permission and click run. So now if you see here, this data will be replaced with petrol data. So what happens when you change this parameter, each time you change the parameters, this queries will be going to SQL and fetching the particular data. Okay, so now we change the parameters, like change the query using the parameter. So the second concept also we able to perform. So whenever for any conditions, like maybe kilometers driven, if you want less than 20 kilometers only, if you want to see in the report, that also you can put it in the where condition and you can change the value in the parameter. Okay. So now let's go to the report. So as of now, this report we have created with using the car details, right? But in the query only we have the like restricted data. That means that the fuel type, whatever we want, only those we have taken from the SQL. That details is available in this table. I didn't have the report with these details. So I want to do it again, but I don't want to waste the time. So what we can do is we can copy this source to this table. So the particular this report will be changed according to the source. Okay. So now let's see how to change the source. So go to transform data, click here, go to transform data. So we are going to copy the source from query to car details so that that particular report will get changed. Okay, because I don't want to repeat the things again. So copy this, go to car details, and here this navigation you have to delete it. Okay, the source is showing which we took it in the beginning. Okay, now delete this and paste the source which we have copied from the query table. Now what happened? This query, this restricted data we are copying into this table. So the report will get reflected to this according to this data. Okay. So now close and apply. So now you can see because it has only petrol. So it is showing only 238 cars. Before it was 300 cars, right? So now we able to change the source and we have now the report with the restricted data. So now if your manager or anyone tell you to change the fuel type, you can go and change in the parameter, fuel, what are the different type you want. Based on that, this report will be changed. Okay. So now this also we have done. The final thing is now we have given fuel petrol, right? So based on the fuel type you have created the report, I want the title to be changed. Okay. Can minimize this. It's not required. Okay. So let's see how we can change the title dynamically. So come here. So you have to keep the cursor in a place where you want this petrol, this column details to be displayed. So I want to be here. Okay. So we can write car details, car sales details for diesel, right? So click it here. If you want in between also, you can click the cursor where you want the particular data to be visible. So now I want it should be visible here. So click here, go to value. Here you have to give the fuel type column. Okay. So just click it here. You can give your fuel type. Wait for some time. It will take some time to fill the data. Fuel. So car details, fuel type, right? Just click it. So based on the data we choose, it is automatically coming. Okay. Now select all and we can change the font size to be 20 and we can change it to be bold. So now I hope you're able to understand. So based on the data like fuel type we have changed here, like fuel based on the parameter value we changed, this report title also changed accordingly. Okay. So I hope you all like this concept. If you are watching us for the first time, please subscribe. And if you have any queries or if you like this video, please comment and thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you all.